for joining Book Drive, presented by Dandelion Breeze Audio, planting seed while you read. A Fallen Whispers, trademark copyright 2003 by Kimberly. Short story, book 14, copyright 2022, July 12. Title, Old Stone Church, Part 1. Sally walked quietly along the dirt path, listening to the birds singing as they flittered about in the tree limbs just overhead. Sally was a little bit sad, but walking along this path always cheered her. She was not really sad, rather she just had that missing something feeling, you know? The feelings that come one day, and when you are not paying attention, they're just gone, and you feel happy and excited again. Well, kids, I just want you to know that having feelings is how God made us. It is what you do with those feelings, or rather, I should say don't do, that makes the difference of how your day will go. As Sally walked, she thought of all the things she ever wanted to do, whether it was something to do today at her young age of 10, or what she dreamed she would be doing at an age when she would be all grown up, as a young lady making choices she could make without anyone telling her what she could or could not do. Today she was content to walk the dirt path that led up to the old stone church. It was an abandoned church now. That means no longer in use. But each time she visited the old stone church, she was renewed with uplifting hopes of what her life was going to become. At age 10, it was hard to realize that each day is just as and even more important than what tomorrow would be, because today is irreplaceable. Today only comes once, and how you choose to walk through this day is in itself a one-time choice that can, does, and will affect every other choice you will come to make in each new day that comes to you. That means when tomorrow comes, it is today. But you must be concerned for the day you are in, because tomorrow is not yet here. Have you ever heard the saying, "Don't wish away your day"? That means you need to stay focused on what is happening right now and do it. It is okay to dream and hope for your tomorrow, but you need be concerned for your today, because that is the day you are in. Hopes and dreams prepare you to know what choice you are to make today. As Sally reached the old stone church, she peered far onto the horizon, for the church sat upon a short hill, meaning it was not the highest point that she could see. There were trees and other tall hills that stood far reaching to the sky, and the little stone church appeared far beneath them, though atop that hill she could see far. She could also see very, very low below, where a creek ran through a farmer's field and cows mowed down grasses in those fields. Sally could see farther upon the short hill where the old stone church sat than when in the front of her yard where her home was. That is why Sally liked coming to the little stone church. It got her out of the enclosed structure of her home and the enclosed boundaries of streets, buildings, and other houses near her home. Please don't misunderstand. Sally loved the home in which she lived. Her parents were very loving, and her kid brother, Jonathan, was like all kid brothers, teasing and playing tricks on her. But she loved having a kid brother to share pizza with on a Saturday afternoon, as her parents were tending to the chores around their house of mowing the yard, doing the laundry, all of which Sally and Jonathan had to do their part in putting away the clean clothes, picking up sticks and dog toys out of the yard so Dad could mow. That is what family and even friends are about, helping one another. Because things don't just get done, someone has to actually do them, whether it is you or someone else. It is better to be the one helping than to just expect and question, why hasn't someone already done this? We all need to carry our share of responsibility. This is the order for things to work more smoothly. Whether you are at school, at home, at work, and even when sharing relaxing time with friends, always remember, you don't want to have to do everything, and no one other person does either. As Sally looked about, seeing all the nature God has made, she marveled at His work. Tall, tall trees that change in every season, growing up from a seed in the ground to a small sapling, year after year growing bigger and bigger. Just like me, she thought. Each year I grow taller and I learn more in my mind of right and wrong, and what I should do and what I should not do. And then there is the ever-changing struggle of learning who to allow in my realm of influence to help me grow in my learning. There are some who do not have my best interest in the choice they would make. People who are in our lives should always be conscious of their choices they are making and how those choices affect those that are around them. Unfortunately, not everyone does this well, and when this happens, you get hurt. You do not have to let that hurt cause you to hurt others too. Forgiveness is a big word and takes much practice. The practice of forgiveness is the same as any sport or musical instrument you wish to learn to play, and to play well, you have to practice. Oh yeah, there are some people who seem to do all things naturally with little effort, but only in part. At some point they too practice, if only to get better. One way to practice forgiveness is to remember when you are feeling mad, no matter the reason or person that may have caused this feeling to arise within you, remember it is within you, and that means you can alter how you feel. Meaning you, and truthfully, only you can change it. No matter what happens in your life, there will be things that make you feel happy, excited, jumping for joy to meet at some point to feeling of sadness, hurt, and anger. See how your feelings are yours? They can be as, picture a teeter-totter on the playground, which goes up and down as you push your feet from the ground to go higher. Your friend on the other end of the teeter is drifting downward back to the ground. So if being high up in the air on the teeter is the joy, excitement, and being low to touch the ground is sad and dull, then realize the way you get to joy, the tilt of the teeter being high in the air, is not by the friend on his or her side of the teeter sitting on the ground. It was by you when you thrust your feet and legs with the most strength to push forward that in a sense propelled you to the high point in the air that you reached when sitting atop the teeter-totter bench. And this is how you practice to forgive. You choose and then do what is necessary to bring you back to a cheerful disposition. rather than stay mad. Think of a friend or a person at school whom is always mad or sad or at the very least moping about and unpleasant to be around. If you are having a good, happy day, you most likely avoid people who are not adding to your happiness. And this should remind you that if you are the person whom is described in the previous sentence, then it is you whom no one wants to play with that day. It is hard to play with someone who will not allow themselves to be happy. It is a choice. Forgiveness works the same way, and when you have forgiven someone who was mean to you, hurt your feelings, or any other thing that has happened, this breaks away the dislikes of any one situation and enables you to choose to be happy, even if there is not the feeling of excitement that oftentimes comes with happiness. But you'll have a joy and a calm within that cannot be taken from you. Forgiveness is made more simple if you do it right away. Do not linger in your disappointments. Change your thought, which again is your attitude, right away, and you'll find you will have a much better day, even when not all goes how you wanted it to go. Wow! Sally looked up and the sky was growing pale, and the bright sun was peering hidden behind the high banks of hills and trees. She had not realized she had been at the old stone church most of the day. She had found a trail along the fence and followed it up and down the hills, and it even brought her along the field where the cows were that she had seen from the short hill at the old stone church. As she walked past the cows, the path curved to return her to the short hill where the old stone church sat, and she had picked some blackberries and ate as a treat when she had gotten a little hungry. Now back at the old stone church she heard her name being called. "Sally, Sally, where are you?" she heard her mother call. Instantly Sally replied, "I'm here." And then the two found each other's face, and a smile of relief came upon her mother's face, and Sally, well, she just smiled, for she did not realize the scare she had given her mother when her mother realized she had not returned home. Her mother went straight away to the path that led to the old stone church, for her mother knew that was Sally's favorite spot, and her mother also knew that Sally's daydreaming caused her to forget the time, and she would stay gone longer than intended. Once Sally reached her mother running up to her, they clasped hand in hand, and Mother, a little breathless, asked, "What did you dream about today, Sally?" Sally replied. Tune in again, find out what dreams Sally has hopes for. See you next time on Book Drive, a Dandelion Breeze audio presentation, planting seed while you read.